All right, hey everybody, we're back with another news feed segment for you. Don't forget, I publish videos every single day, so make sure you subscribe and you can come check this stuff out. This first one we're going to cover comes from CNBC. Will congestion pricing stop New York City from entering the era of economic gridlock? Okay, this congestive that we see right here, congestion pricing, this is horrible. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think this happens a lot still in like the UK and Britain and England. I thought when I was out there they were starting to kick this stuff off, and that was 20, 30 years ago, basically, last time I was there, they were talking about this. But basically what it was is they were going to charge you a $15 fee for any automobile that was in this or used in the city during daytime, during business hours. It was an additional fee to the already ridiculous fees that New York City charges. Basically, the Metropolitan Transportation Authority plan was it was easy to understand. $15 fee for daytime automobile commuters entering New York City or at or below Manhattan's 60th Street. Would have been the first of its kind in the United States. Horrible. That would have been horrible. Could you imagine how this would spread? It was supposed to bring in an estimated $1 billion in annual funding. They wanted it to basically to cut down on congestion of the areas on there. It's a money grab is what it is. It was a tax that they wanted to use to pay for. They even said in here, as U.S. cities continue recovering from the pandemic and inflation, New York City was expected to provide a key national test. Key thing right there. Of economic value of congestion pricing, a cost of living crisis, preparing for climate challenges, and aging infrastructure, including public transportation, all made the congestion pricing plan make sense to many. Unbelievable. Okay, we're just going to leave it at that. But if you ever have the option or you hear the word congestion pricing come into your town or your city, vote with everything you got to get rid of it. Fight it like everything you can. And I don't even understand why people still live in cities, but I'm glad they do. I am so glad that people live in New York and Chicago and that kind of stuff. Just jam them all in. Crash them all in there like sardines. Let them paw and tear at each other and leave the rest of the world where it's urban and I don't have to be bothered by anybody and I can have it all to myself. I do not understand what the draw is to these places. But point being, stay away from this congestion. This is bad. Okay, this congestion pricing, bad. All right, moving on from there. The Willys we got right here. Okay, the Jeep Willys. Now I've done other little segments on this before, so I'm not going to get too far into it. But I do want to. This was cool because it gave all the specs right here. The original one. This is the Army version. This is the Willys. Willys or Willis MB, Military Model B, okay, that came out. And here it is, the specs on it. Weighing in at a guaranteed 1 metric ton, 2,204 pounds. Pretty crazy. 2,200 pounds. It was with dimensions of 129.9 inches long, 62 inches wide, 68.69 inches high. It was made to go anywhere in all weather, any kind of load, with the Willys Overland MB 4-cylinder gas engine developing 60 horsepower. At 3,820 RPMs, the light all-terrain vehicle was capable of a top speed of 65.2 miles per hour with a fuel range of 236 miles. Easy to maintain and repair. The little car was a trusty Swiss Army knife of Allied forces who landed in France. Pretty cool. Pretty neat. We're ending this one here. We're not sticking around. It was very cool. The article is here. If you want to read this article yourself or pull it up, go to Motor One, type in any of these keywords. It will bring it up right for you, just like it does any article we have on here. This one here. So if you're somebody who buys Rain-X and puts it all over your windows to kind of keep that stuff from whatever it does, it lets the water bead and come off quicker. I used to use it back in the day. Rain-X has been around since I was in high school, and it works good. Well, this guy says no more need to buy it. He shares a water-repelling window hack for your car, and all it takes is baking soda. So you can use baking soda. He says you just take it, container of baking soda in a damp rag, much safer. He tells his followers, small box of great value baking soda. Somewhere he tells you how to do it. You're just going to rub it in. Right here, you're going to take the baking soda and go pour it into a chunk like this. He says pouring some baking soda onto a damp rag. Now you're going to take it and literally rub it onto your windshield until it dissolves. That's all there is to it. He did say in here too that Rain-X, when he looked at it, he brand stuff right here. He says if you look at the ingredients of the name brand stuff, the number one ingredient in most of them is baking soda. little tip for you, interesting little thing to keep in mind or note. So something for food for thought for you there too. Again, I try to go as fast as I can on these. Moving on. Next one right here. Ask experts, should you leave the turbo car to idle before switching it off? Now, remember, even if you have a turbo now, but with the turbo diesels, with my 2019 Ram 2500 Cummins, all these trucks, everything, and the ones my dad had, it's a gold standard rule that if you do a long haul or a long pull, so if you're on a highway for an hour with a diesel vehicle, once you get off and you go to get gas, you don't fly out, you're doing 75 miles an hour down the road and then pull over, go to the gas station, pull into the pump and turn the engine off on a diesel. Okay, you're going to overheat the diesels. They need the oil to circulate through them to keep them cool. Now here it says, this guy's talking about carbonization. Right here somewhere in it, he said in here, dear Alex, oil in it to prevent carbonizing in the bearings. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with keeping the whole thing clean or cooled down. He says right here, it's nothing to do with carbonization of the oil. Instead, helps protect the turbo's internal components from damage. In the olden days, turbos were cooled solely by engine oil. The engine was switched off when it was too hot. It would be left inside the turbo. This would cause it to overheat and suffer warped bearings. Okay, this is the problem we have here. Moral of the story, they tell you in here, right here, technology advance means you no longer have to do this. For one thing, the additional water cooling means turbos are not solely reliant on engine oil to keep their temperatures down. I don't care what this article says. I don't care what anything says. I'm telling you that your truck's going to last longer, or your car, if when you do that and you're driving high on the highway, when you get off and you go to a gas station or you come right home, whatever the case is, let it idle for a minute and let that circulate that oil in and out of that turbos and let it cool itself down. Give it a minute. One minute, 60 seconds is worth it to let that cool itself down before you turn it off. I promise it's going to last a lot longer for you. I don't care what this guy's telling you. Again, this is something we've always done. Maybe they got better technology in them, but I wouldn't risk it. Just do it. It's part of owning a turbo. Let it cool. That's my advice for you. So, all right, we're going to end this one right here, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.